Hello, friends, and a warm welcome to the Slow Living Collective podcast. I am Amy, wife, mother of two, and devoted homemaker. Join me on this journey as we explore the beauty of slow and simple living, where life unfolds at its own unhurried pace. These episodes are love notes from me, sharing the things that I sometimes need to hear myself as well. I'll take you through my experiences of slowing down, tending to my allotment plot and balcony garden, finding joy in the little things, and embracing our wonderful small home. In these episodes, I delve into what it means to walk a different path, stepping outside societal norms and embracing all the beauty it provides. Together, we'll learn how to live in harmony with the ever-changing seasons, discovering the magic of living in the present moment. I welcome you to come on this journey with me and maybe open your mind to a different way of living. I hope you find what you're looking for in the words of these episodes, and I hope they speak to you in your own unique way. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Slow Living Collective. I am so happy to have you here, and I'm really excited about today's episode because the seasons are beginning to change, and I just wanted to take this moment at the beginning of this week to slow down together and just reflect on that transition from winter to spring, because we've got spring equinox coming up, the official beginning of spring. I know some of us here in the UK, we've been treated to a little bit of a false spring, and it's been nice, and then it went cold again, and the weather's picking back up again now. And you know, that's this time of year, of course. We are in the season of renewal, of gentle awakenings, and we're all starting to feel the shift in ourselves, and we can see it in nature as well. The buds are on the trees, there's blossom coming out. Soon we are going to be thriving in spring. But we have been in a period of winter, and winter really invites us to rest, to cocoon ourselves, to hibernate, to move inward, and to really just embrace the slowness of winter. But, you know, as spring starts to arrive and we start to notice the signs of spring, the days are growing longer. Soon we'll be changing the clocks here in the UK. We'll get sort of like those longer daylight hours, but also we're going to get sort of like lighter evenings. And there are signs of spring everywhere, like I said. You know, there's blossom coming on the trees, the buds are grand. I've got seeds sprouting in the greenhouse. This time of year, we just get this natural pull towards awakening, towards more movement, and just the beginning of our growth. So in today's episode, I really want to talk about how we can honour this seasonal shift and just ease ourselves into the new season with some intention and just be open about what the season has to offer. It's so funny. One of the most common questions I've been asked is whether I have a buy me a coffee. So if you don't know, buy me a coffee is basically a way that you can support my work. Now, I have a paid membership over on Substack, and while that's great for the people who want it, not everybody wants to commit to an ongoing membership, and I completely get that. So I did set up a buy me a coffee. You can donate small amount, whatever works, if you want to. It is just a small little tip jar, put it that way, a small little tip jar that says thank you for the free content. There is no obligation, of course. It's just something I was getting asked about a lot. So if you're interested, you can visit my Buy Me a Coffee link at buymeacoffee.com/The Slow Living Collective. That's buymeacoffee.com/The Slow Living Collective. So one of my favourite parts of the year is the cross-quarter festivals, which are spring equinox and autumn equinox. Now, I love winter solstice and I love summer solstice, but there's something really that I feel really drawn to around the cross-quarter festivals, and I just love the really noticeable changes, I think, between moving from winter into spring, and also at the other end of the season moving from summer into autumn. And I feel like the changes at the cross-quarter festivals of spring equinox and autumn equinox are so much more obvious and so much more, I don't know, just visible to us than, say, the solstice that we have at winter and summer. So I feel like winter solstice, for an example, by the time we get round to like the 21st of December, like we've all been cold for a while. And I think, there's a lot going on obviously around that time period anyway, if you celebrate Christmas. But, I just think that it's an unnoticed, I think, if you're not looking for it. And the same with summer solstice as well. I just think, you've just been building up to the warmer weather. And I think, obviously the solstices are great and great to celebrate those, peak moments in winter and summer. But I really just feel that there's something more about the equinoxes. I don't know, maybe it's just me. But I definitely feel those seasonal shifts, and whenever I talk about seasonal shifts or share about seasonal shifts, that was quite difficult to say, share about seasonal shifts, it's really, I would say it's my most popular kind of content actually. So I think it does resonate across the board. And this time of year, as we move from winter into spring, we're starting to notice the first green shoots on the trees, and the little buds forming, and we can see blossom arriving at last. And if you're a gardener, those first little shoots of those seeds you planted are coming through. You hear the birds in the morning or in the evening. I was at the allotment close to sunset the other week, and just the bird song in the evening, I just felt like I hadn't heard that for so long. And I always say this in episodes relating to spring, but there is something so magical about spring, and I felt it my entire life, and I've never been able to put my finger on what it is. And it's just, when it's springtime and the weather is pleasant again, and you feel the warmth of the sun on your face for maybe the first time this year, and you actually just think, like, wow, like the season ahead holds so much promise. And it's like a non-verbal thing, but I've always just felt like, that's the spring awakening essentially. But I've always just felt like there feels so much promise at the beginning of spring. Like, we don't know what kind of summer we're gonna get. Let's be honest. If you're in England like me, or the UK in general, you never know. You never know what you're getting. It might rain quite a bit, or you might end up with like a 3-week heat wave. Who knows? Who knows? If you're lucky, you'll get both. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? We get all 4 seasons in one day sometimes. But this time of year, it just, the air feels different. It's just that promise. And these are really small but really significant reminders that change is happening all around us. The light even changes. The mornings feel softer, brighter. When the sun is setting, like the sun sets opposite my house, and it's beautiful. I get to watch it from my balcony every single day. And the sunsets recently have just been amazing. And it's just, the whole world, Northern Hemisphere at least, the Northern Hemisphere just feels like it's just moving out of that slowness, coldness, dreariness, tiredness of winter. And so, over the next week, we've got spring equinox coming on Thursday. If you're listening to this as it goes live, we've got spring equinox coming. Have a walk outside this week and just observe it all. Notice the different colours and the textures, and feel the energy of the earth as it wakes up from winter. And so, maybe you keep a nature journal, or you keep a journal in general. You could write down these observations, and it will really help sort of deepen your awareness of the seasons. So, when we really allow ourselves to be fully present in these transitions, we start to really feel a deeper connection to the rhythms of life. And seasonal living, it it baffles so many people. It's like, living with the seasons, like, what do you mean? And I really feel like, and I'm so passionate about this, that living in tune with the seasons is the most ancestral and authentic thing that any human can do. It's how we were born to live, and it's all around us. And once you start to notice it, you will never not be able to notice it. But also, it will improve your life for the better, because it's not as simple as just like, oh yeah, like beautiful buds on the tree, like great, or oh, it looks very pretty with the blossom. It is so much deeper than that. It's understanding what the world around you is doing, in terms of, it's waking up, it's that new lease of life. And when you then sort of delve a bit deeper into the way you naturally feel in those seasons, you will connect with it on a whole different level, and you will realize that you have always lived cyclically. You have just been raised in a world that has tried so hard to stamp that out of us. So as we transition from winter into spring this week, we're going to notice that our own energy is beginning to shift, because winter is all about rest and reflection, and spring encourages more renewal and movement and creativity and just waking up again. But that doesn't mean that we suddenly go from, being quiet, inward and reflective to like back out in the world. Hi, we're here, let's go. It doesn't mean we need to rush. Instead, let's figure out some ways to ease into this new season gently. So a great way to do that is to take a moment to check in with yourself. So what parts of you feel ready to wake up and bloom at this time of year? What areas of your life need a little bit more time to unfurl? Because let's be honest, not all of the seeds I planted, are going to suddenly spring to life in one go. And over the next couple of months, I only have to take a look on the back of the seed packets. Some can be planted in February, some can be planted in March, some can be planted in April, and some can be planted in May. Not everything is ready to bloom all at once, and not everything will bloom all at once. So think about what areas of your life you feel ready to wake up and bloom, but also think of what areas of your life need a little more time. And how can you honour both of those, and honour that need for renewal and rebirth, but also that need for a slowness as we move through the seasons. So you might be feeling ready to start maybe new projects. Planting seeds in the garden is a good one, definitely for me. Maybe you're ready for that spring clean, refreshing your space with a deep clean. Or maybe you're still feeling that craving of a slow morning and a cozy evening. So let me put it right out here now. There is no right or wrong way to transition into a new season. All you have to do is follow your own natural rhythm, and you will know what you need to do. Because like I said, spring doesn't arrive all at once. We're not going to get to spring equinox and it's like, bang, it's here, let's go. Instead, it's a slow unfolding. So some days might still feel like winter. It still have that coldness in the air, and you'll still have that feeling, that need to be warm and cozy. But other days, it might be beautiful sunshine. It might be warmer. We might feel more like we want to be outside, and the world might encourage us to sort of soak in that sunshine. It doesn't happen all at once. It shouldn't happen all at once, because that's where we get overwhelmed and burn out. So how does this shift play into our personal growth? So maybe there's an idea you've been nurturing, just like that tiny little seed that's ready to sprout. And so have a think about if there's something that you feel that maybe you're finally ready for. And so it might be something as simple as what I do throughout the year is just change up my routines and just refresh our daily habits. I home educate the kids, and we don't operate in the same rhythm all year round. So before I finish up today's episode, I wanted to share with you some really fun seasonal rituals that are really simple to help you transition gently into the new season. I don't want you to rush. I don't want you to feel like you've got to do all of the things. I sometimes feel like that at the allotment, and I have to rein it in. But when we bring some of these simple seasonal rituals into our daily lives, it can help us feel more grounded as things change. Because as humans, we don't typically love change now, do we? Um, so, we all go kicking and screaming into autumn and winter, but, we come flying out in the spring like, let's go. And that is obviously cyclical as well. But, we just feel that we're more ready in the spring, obviously, but we don't want to rush, and we don't want to make it like that we're going to get overwhelmed and burnt out. So here are some things that you can do anyway as the seasons shift. So spring cleaning is not just about decluttering, or we've all been talking about spring cleaning for our whole lifetimes and beyond, right? But we feel that urge in the spring because we feel ready for a refresh. It's natural. It's not just, like, oh, spring cleaning because, I don't know, some sort of marketing terminology, right? We actually feel that. But it's just making space for fresh energy, opening the windows, letting the breeze fly in, clearing away everything from winter in the air. And it just feels nice. So that's number one. Number two is thinking about how you can eat more with the season. So as we start to shift from winter into spring, we also shift from those, really hearty winter meals to sort of lighter, fresher foods. So we're going to be starting to get the first seasonal vegetables. Maybe if you live local to a farm or have a farm shop, notice what's naturally in season. We always purchase the Riverford UK organic veg box that always has veg that is specific to the season, which I love. You can actually visit my link and get a £15 credit off your second Riverford order. I really recommend them. We've been using them for about 18 months or so, and love their boxes. And I love their UK seasonal organic box because it allows you to really eat in tune with the seasons, and I love that. So if you wanted to grab a £15 credit off of your second box, go to theslowlivingcollective.com/Riverford. That's theslowlivingcollective.com/Riverford. But cooking seasonally as well, it just connects us with the earth cycles. But also beyond that, when you eat food that is in season in your locality, it is so much better for you because it is packed full of the nutrients your body needs at exactly that time. It's magical. It's magical, honestly. Now, if you're into journaling this is a great time of year to journal because you can reflect on what winter taught you and just set some really simple intentions for spring. What do you want to cultivate in this new season? What are you ready for? You could do something like write a letter to your future self, set some goals, all of those sorts of things. Number 4 is one of my favourites, of course, because I'm a big gardener. Plant something. It can be as simple as a few herbs in your kitchen, or you can go crazy and plant yourself out a garden. But planting something is a really beautiful way to connect with the growth of the season. And tending to plants sometimes, hopefully, would remind us that we need to also tend to ourselves and nurture ourselves as well. Another good one is to take a slow morning outside. And I know so often people are like, but Amy, I've got to go to work and do the school run and blah, blah, blah. And I get it. And I actually live a slightly different life from that because I home educate the kids and we have a little bit more freedom in the mornings. But all that being said, it doesn't need to be this full-on morning routine. It can just be a few moments. Just a few minutes is all it takes. Just step outside first thing in the morning, like I said, even just for a few minutes, and just breathe in the fresh spring air. The warmth of the sun, listen to the birds. Just start the day with that intentional pause. It's really helpful. It is so helpful, and I think if you start integrating it, you'll feel better as well. There's something really good. And sometimes you are like, you open that door, you walk out there and you're like, this is freezing. No, thank you, not today. But you made the effort at least. And I've stood out on my balcony in some pretty bracing weather before. And I've been like, come on, Amy, hold out for a few minutes. And then I'm like, no, not today, thank you very much, and in I go. But just those few moments, it's really nice, and as the weather improves as well. And if you want to celebrate the equinox this coming week, because spring equinox is just this perfect time of balance. Equinox itself is equal day and night, and it's just a really wonderful moment to set intentions, express gratitude, and just welcome the light back into our life, in all of our lives, both physically in spring and also personally as well. And I'm actually going to be hosting my equinox circle this coming Thursday. The information will be in the show notes, so go check it out. It's completely free. I would love you to join me. It'll be over on Substack. So yeah, come join in. Come get the link, and if you're not able to join in, it will be recorded. So it's just a quick half-hour celebration of the equinox, and we'll set some intentions. It's just perfect seasonal loveliness. So the transition from winter to spring is a gentle one. It's a really gentle invitation and an opportunity for us to just slowly unfurl ourselves alongside everything that's going on in nature. And I want to remind you that there is no need to rush. You do not need to come out of the gate screaming at spring equinox. Just let yourself wake up at your own pace and just stretch into the light of the world and just embrace this beautiful season of renewal, because if you tune into it, you'll feel it. Because spring is just this, I feel like it comes with this feeling of hope, like I said, of possibility. It's a time of new beginnings, but it's also a time to just appreciate what's around us. Have a look outside, step outside your front door, your back door, and just have a look at what nature is doing. There are little buds on the trees, the blossom is coming, the breeze is feeling warmer, the sun is on our face, there's an extra minute of daylight, all of it. Just take a look around and savour it, because it'll be winter again before we know it, guys. But I would really love to hear from you. I would love to hear how you experience seasonal shifts, what your favourites are. Do you love the equinoxes like I do? Are you much more of a solstice kind of person? Do you love the extremes of summer and winter, or do you like those in between periods, that balance, that equal day to night? So come find me over on Instagram or on Substack, and I would love to hear how you're experiencing the shift of the season and what you thought of today's episode. If you loved it, I would obviously be so grateful if you left a review or shared it with a friend maybe who could use a little seasonal inspiration too. So as always, you can find me over on Instagram at the Slow Living Collective. You can also find me on Substack, theslowlivingcollective.substack.com. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will catch you in my next episode.